National Emergency Management Agency to declare a national disaster on flooding as Nigerian Air Force destroys Boko Haram vehicles at Gudumbali and Damasak. Plus, Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria is fine-tuning modalities to join membership of International Engineering Alliance. There's more on Panorama with me today, Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia. President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged continued commitment of his administration to building infrastructure in the transport sector, including the ports, to facilitate trade and boost the nation's economy. The president stated this at the maiden edition of the International Association of Ports and Harbors Africa Regional Conference in Abuja. The Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, highlighted some of the achievements of the present administration, noting that the Continental Conference would address the developmental challenges in the maritime sector in Africa. The Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and the current Vice President of IAPH Africa Region indicated that in the conference with the theme, African ports and hinterland connectivity is aimed at examining the African port sector and their captive and competitive hinterland, the connectivity, infrastructure, facilitation, expertise, and hinterland accessibility compared to progress achieved in other parts of the world. And away from that, in line with the Presidential Directive for National Emergency Management, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, is to declare a national disaster in the event of imminent outbreak of flooding. Well, the agency has convened an emergency stakeholders meeting to review flood disaster situation in the country, with special focus on Niger and other high-risk states. Director General of the agency, Mustafa May Haja, urged stakeholders to step up efforts at evacuation and relocation of residents in flood-prone areas. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The presidential directive also requires NEMA to activate the disaster response units of the military for possible search and rescue missions. The agency, prior to the directive, had embarked on visitations to military formations across the country. The directive granted the procurement and proportionate stocking of relief materials and health-related items to the tune of 3 billion naira to provide for the needs of possible victims. NEMA's Director General, while addressing the media after a closed-door meeting with the stakeholders, said most residents of disaster-prone areas have been relocated to safer ground. He said the agency is making frantic efforts to prevent casualties in the event of imminent outbreak of flooding in the country.
NEMA situation room has been activated for collecting data, analyzing the data or information received to guide the operations of the national EOC and the corresponding zonal EOCs. The nation, as regular as possible, will be informed of further development.
Dams and rivers have been spilling water as the water volume is put at 10.86 as against the earlier volume of 10.66. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has constituted 5 incident response coordinators in the 5 zones with high risk of flood disasters to monitor situations and feedback for prompt response. Inaugurating the coordinators, NEMA's Director General Mustafa May Haja urged them to remain committed in the discharge of their duties. He said information is power. Hence, he required regular updates on flood situation in their various zones for prompt action and prevention.
Ensure that the EOC annex and appropriate annexes are periodically updated. Maintain sufficient supplies and equipment to ensure operational capability, and also manage information and its corresponding dissemination.
This move by NEMA is in line with the presidential directive on regular updates of the flood situation for immediate action. And to security matters now, the Nigerian police has announced a high-profile deployment of officers and men to Osun State for a hitch-free governorship election scheduled for 22nd of this month. The team, which is headed by a Deputy Inspector of Police, consists of an Assistant Inspector General and 8 police commissioners of police. Francis Form reports that also deployed for the election are 2 police patrol surveillance helicopters, 30 armored personnel carriers, 10 armored vehicles, and 300 police patrol vehicles. Force Public Relations Officer Jimoh Moshood says the operatives of the Force Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department, IGP Monitoring Unit, and Intelligence Response Team are already on ground to prevent and arrest, investigate, and prosecute any individual who engages in vote buying and selling during the election.
Utterances and conduct is contrary to the Electoral Act or that can incite disturbance of public peace before, during, and after the elections.
He assured the electorate and contestants, as well as law-abiding citizens in Osun State, of adequate security throughout the election period.
Officers and personnel of other security and safety agencies deployed for the election are under strict instruction to be strict, polite, and civil, but firm in the discharge of their duties and other responsibility. They are to provide adequate security for the electorate.
And on the restriction of vehicular movement, Jimoh Moshood explained that motorists and commuters can use Lagos-Ore-Benin Highway and Lagos-Ibadan-Ilorin Highway as alternative routes. The All Progressives Congress APC says it will continue to challenge corruption to keep the country on course. In a statement by the party's acting National Publicity Secretary, Yekini Nabena, under the President Muhammadu Buhari-led All Progressives Congress administration, the scale of recoveries from corrupt elements in the past 3 years, the country's anti-graft agencies, is testament that the administration's extensive anti-corruption drive is yielding results. It says compared to the past successful prosecution of many corrupt persons, the hugely successful whistleblowing policy and voluntary return of corruptly acquired funds and assets has shown that it is no longer business as usual and corruption is increasingly becoming unacceptable. The statement adds that recent reports in the media space against the anti-corruption efforts by the same opposition partisans and their proxies that ruin the country with their institutionalized corruption is a ploy for corruption to fight back and canvass votes of Nigerians for various elective positions. The APC therefore urged Nigerians to continue to challenge corruption and its related vices, in line with the change agenda of the All Progressives Congress APC. And it's time now for some messages. Panorama will return shortly. Don't go away.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
It's good to know you're still there. Panorama continues now. The resignation of the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, and acceptance by President Muhammadu Buhari are actions of honor, strength of character, and integrity. Well, this was contained in a statement by Acting National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Yekini Nabina. The statement says the news that the National Youth Service Corps exemption certificate tendered by the former finance minister was not genuine has been well reported in the media, and like all responsive and responsible governments concerned about the truth and due process, the federal government undertook diligent investigation of the allegation, stressing that the minister has taken the path of honor and resigned based on the outcome of the investigation. It says, in the President Buhari's administration of integrity and transparency in the conduct of public affairs, no officer of government with a modicum of questionable conduct or integrity should stay in office. The statement says the party appreciates her immense contributions to the stability of the Nigerian economy in the past 3.5 years. And the leadership of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, has reiterated its commitment to comply with electoral guidelines in the Osun governorship election and beyond. This was at the party's training on INEC 2019 documentation requirements in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf has that report.
This is a convergence of the 31 states and the FCT chairman of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, as well as its secretaries and legal advisors. The major agenda here is to arouse their consciousness towards complying with the electoral guidelines.
We have had experiences of how we fill INEC forms, and there have been mistakes and mistakes. And with a single mistake, you can edge or throw our aspirant or no, rather a candidate out.
And ensure that whatever you do, there is a high level of accuracy so that our candidates who have paid their money to purchase form do not fill in wrong information.
The issue of vote buying, which is becoming a trend during elections, especially during the recent Ekiti governorship poll, must not be allowed to reoccur as the party resolved to partner INEC at putting a stop to the menace. To the People's Democratic Party, PDP, INEC's preparedness towards curbing vote selling and buying is a step in the right direction. This was part of deliberations raised by the PDP Voice Worldwide, a support group of the party, during a media briefing. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
And away from politics, Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, is fine-tuning modalities to secure membership of the International Engineering Alliance, IEA, by being a signatory to the Washington Accord. This is coming with the hosting of the IEA delegation from Board of Engineers Malaysia and Pakistan Engineering Council, who are in Nigeria to observe COREN's typical engineering program accreditation procedure, including approval by the council. Justin Bem reports.
One key area Koren is focusing on now is the internationalization of Nigerian engineering qualifications, which is aimed at creating mobility for Nigerian indigenous engineering practitioners and possible transfer of knowledge and technology. This is why the body has applied to be member of the International Engineering Alliance, IEA, and now the delegation in Nigeria visited Covenant University, Ota, Ogun State, Afe Babalola University, Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State, and the Federal University of Technology, Minna. President of the Council is optimistic that after the visits, Nigeria would have demonstrated the strength of her engineering education and proven her capacity and suitability for the attainment of the provisional signatory status to the Washington Accord.
The two of them agree that we qualify for them to nominate us. The road to attaining the signatory to the Washington Accord is a long one and tortuous, if I may add that. The first thing is that for people to even say that, yes, you are fit and proper and that they can vouch for you and nominate you, that we have crossed and we are quite happy with that. It's a major milestone.
Being a signatory members meant that the engineering program that you accredit is mutually recognized by the other signatory countries. And that is important. And for that reason, there is a process that we have to go through. And we are now going through, I think, the second process.
Koren says it has approved accreditation requests of 19 institutions comprising engineering programs, as it also commended the federal government for the promulgation of the Presidential Executive Order 5 that promotes the development of local content with science, engineering, and technology components. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, has emerged best improved airport in safety by Airports Council International Africa Region. General Manager, Corporate Affairs of the airport, Henrietta Yakubu, in a statement says the airport was chosen as winner following an intensive evaluation process that considered entries from several airports in Africa. She said Secretary General of Airports Council International, who informed the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport of the feat, said the award will officially be presented to the airport at the next ACI Africa Conference and Annual General Assembly, which will hold from 14th to 17th October 2018 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. And the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole over the night of 14th September and early morning of 15th September 2018 tracked and destroyed some Boko Haram terrorist vehicles that were attempting to launch fresh attacks on ground troops locations at the Gudumbali and Damasak in Borno State. Director Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibukunle Daramola, said the mission was initiated following intelligence reports indicating a convoy of Boko Haram terrorists had been sighted. The Nigerian Air Force Intelligence Surveillance and Reconnaissance was then dispatched to search for and locate the convoy of vehicles. The Boko Haram terrorist vehicles were identified, isolated and attacked by the helicopter gunship in successive strikes. 4 of the vehicles were immobilized and their occupants neutralized at Metele and Arege, while the other 5 vehicles were tracked down at Tumbunrego. Air Commodore Daramola added that a follow-up attack on the newly discovered insurgents' logistics base in Tumbunrego was conducted by 2 Alpha jets Sunday morning, and their makeshift buildings and other facilities were destroyed. And the Nigerian Army has constructed and inaugurated blocks of office and housing accommodation for officers and men of 22 Battalion in Mubi, Adamawa State, to enhance their efficiency in fighting insecurity in the area and northeast at large. Ladi Bala reports that the new general officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, JOS, Major General Benson Akintoye Akinroluyi, inaugurated the project, representing the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Yusuf Tuku Buratai.
the new General Officer Commanding GOC 3 Division Nigerian Army TIOLA, which is part of his tour of state under the division, is aimed at not only familiarizing himself with the activities of officers and men, but to have first-hand information on the working environment and as well encourage troops on the need to remain focused and resolute. In a welcome remark, the Brigade Commander, 23 Brigade Yola, Brigadier General Abdullahi Muhammad, did not mince words in appreciating the proactive efforts of the Chief of Army Staff in repositioning the Nigerian Army to be professionally responsive in protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. While commissioning the projects on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, the GOC 3 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Benson Akintoye Akinroluyo assured troops of the commitment of Chief of Army Staff to ensure that welfare of troops and their families are not compromised.
The Nigerian Army will continue to provide infrastructure and basic needs to motivate troops' performance.
Earlier, the GOC, accompanied by other senior officers, paid homage on the Emir of Mubi, Abubakar Isa Ahmadu, where he commended him for supporting the Nigerian Army in maintaining peace and order in the area. In Yola, Ladibala, NTA News.
Nigerians have been called upon to pray for the nation's leaders and support the drive for economic growth and development. Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi, at a national prayer for the nation in Bauchi, also called for the electorate to contribute positively in their own way to strengthen good governance. Abbas Meikano reports.
Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, who stressed the efficiency of prayer towards addressing the various challenges confronting the polity, prayed for the nation and those in leadership position. He called on the citizenry to support the present administration in the country in its determined efforts to find lasting solutions to the socio-political and economic problems facing the nation. The Islamic scholar, who gave a brief biography of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, charged Muslim faithfuls to be using Islamic calendar in their daily undertakings as exemplified by the companions of the Prophet. Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi also called on Muslims to imbibe the virtues of tolerance, love, perseverance, patience, and assisting the needy, as well as live peaceably with adherents of other religions as exemplified by the Prophet. He charged Muslim faithfuls to unite under one umbrella and work as a team for effective propagation of Islam, and express gratitude to governments and wealthy individuals who contributed towards successful organization of the event. The annual event was attended by thousands of Muslims from 36 states of the Federation and Abuja, as well as some other African countries. In Bauchi, Abbas Mekano.
And up next is sports with Gift George.
Nigeria's men's basketball team, the D Tigers, on Saturday at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Lagos, became the first official team to qualify for the FIBA 2019 Basketball World Cup in China after beating Central African Republic 114-69 in its second match. The Nigerian side, which continued its winning streak to 8, had earlier beaten Cote d'Ivoire in its first match on Friday by 84-73.
Our skill set and our talent kind of showed towards the end, and we were able to wind it up.
We have to play a defensive game. We can learn how to win those games. If it's going to be a turnover game, we got to learn how to win those games. If it's going to be an offensive game, we got to learn how to win those games. So to be a champion, you got to learn how to win all different types of games.
All is now set for the second phase of the Nigerian National Handball League, scheduled for the 25th of September at Roe Park in Lagos. Stakeholders said all arrangements have been concluded to take the game of handball to the next level in Nigeria.
We're beginning to see loads of activities going on in the sport, and it takes only a good sponsor like this to be able to help us.
This will be feeder teams to the national team. Our aspiration is to ensure this sport grows beyond ordinary sports. We want the sports to be medal-winning sports for Nigeria.
Delta State has emerged winner of the just concluded 4th edition of the National Youth Games in Ilorin. The state won 27 gold, 24 silver, and 16 bronze medals to win the festival back-to-back for the 4th time consecutively. Lagos State, the debutant, came second with 23 gold, 15 silver, and 22 bronze medals, while Ogun State and Bayelsa State occupied 3rd position with 11 gold, 7 silver, and 16 bronze medals. Over 100 members of the Nigerian Association of Physical Education, Recreation, Sports, and Dance, NAFA SD, converged on Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo State, to elect executive members that will pilot the affairs of the association for the next 4 years. A 9-man board led by Professor Rauf Okuneye was elected and inaugurated. With sports updates, Gifts George, NTA News.
And that does it on Panorama. Thank you for watching. I am Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia.
It be like say they want to tell us another story again.